Welcome to the Quantum Shift Show.
I can't wait for this show to start. This is so exciting.
Your host of the Quantum Shift Show, Dr. Sam Mugzzi and Digital Tom.
Welcome to another Quantum Shift Show. Thanks for joining us today, and we have some more teachings from George. So let's dive right in. Mugzzi, how are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing great. I have got the mother load of information that George just gave me, and it is absolutely sublime. It is not, no one else is talking about this. This is the most incredible information that anybody could be sharing right now. So we're going to share it with you guys, our listeners. Take what you want, leave what you don't, but you are going to be able to enhance your reality greatly so that we can all move onto the same timeline, which is the perfect timeline. Those that don't, those that still want to play in a playground of a 3D mindset, they will be moved off the planet. They will be moved to a more like of what they're still trying to learn. So let me just explain this. From what I've been told by George is that the Anunnaki is part of the Jupiter Committee, which are the beings of great intellect and wisdom that established the Earth School. Now, what's important about this is that we all agreed to come here to learn, to ascend our spiritual consciousness, and to develop our own personality. Remember, when we're sitting on a cloud, we're up there, we're in the 12Ds, sitting on our cloud, kicking up some dust. We all have a group consciousness. So, in order to expand on the God mind, we all needed to develop our own mind and our own personality. Some have been here longer than others. Some are walk-ins. Some are the 144,000 that are God's elves that are helping to elevate the frequency of the planet and combine timelines. So we all have a different role. And this is important because I know a lot of people are really upset because they're experiencing a lot of death in the family or a lot of death around them in their communities. And I just want you guys all to realize that this is a school and not everybody is graduating. And you had to complete certain little gold medals of achievement in order to get the big diploma. And I'm going to explain that throughout this show. But it's really important to understand that if you're listening to this show, you probably already have that seal. If not, you could still work on it now that you know what to do. So I'm going to lay it out for you guys so that you can grasp what you need, leave what you don't, okay? We have an ebb and flow here of energy, and I just want you guys to make the best version of yourselves. Why? Because everybody loves you. That's why. You're perfect. You have the best body ever. And I'm going to explain that in a minute. I'm going to get to something really important. So let's start with Enoch. Now, Enoch talks about the 10 heavens. And what's really important about the Enoch readings is that when Enoch was shown the 10 heavens, what he was being shown is the 10 timelines on the earthly plane. He was not being shown beyond the 5D because he was shown here at home how to ascend, how to be an ascended master. And that comes from the quantum brain development. And I'm going to go through all of this. but I believe we had, through mistranslation, or maybe somebody didn't want us to figure this out, because if we knew how to climb Jacob's ladder, if we knew how to transform this reality into the heaven we want, then there would be no game. There would be no challenge. We would know how to do it. So I'm going to explain to you exactly what is going on with the Enoch readings, the 10 heavens, and how he is depicting the timelines that we have to climb as part of our ascension process. So let's start with number one. Number one, he speaks of the firmament. And the firmament is the first heaven, which is the water above, the ocean, the ether. So the ocean really of this firmament is all about containing the energies here. It's protecting us, but it's also protecting the other nine realms, because we're going to go through a lot of crap. We're working things out. We're in duality. We're looking at what happens if I poke my eye? What happens if I poke your eye? What happens if I poke those guys over there? So we're learning these lessons to develop the spiritual personality, which is the I am. So the firmament is a containment of frequencies and energies so that we don't disturb the other schools and the other schools don't disturb us. And that is why we have an ice wall around us, because the ice is a medium of an ionic purification system, so that there is no bleeding of this emotional drama that we're working out that goes into the other realms. Some of the other realms, they don't really have those emotional outbursts or those temper tantrums that we seem to have. We were given full gamut of this emotion, which is our powerhouse. We're allowed to do it, use it, so that we can learn how to curb it, how to manage our powerhouse, our thrusters of emotion when we need to. That is part of where our power comes from. If you think of Merlin and holding open the ocean or something like that, it comes from your beliefs. So we have to learn how to use those emotions properly. We don't. Okay, it's a known fact that probably 80–85% of the population is just willy-nilly using these bad emotions. So the Terra Dome protects us and protects them. And I think it's pretty ironic that we have a lot of water inside the Terra Dome, and then there's like an ocean above us. Again, purifying and protecting us from them and them from us as we're working out these different dramas that we're going through. Think, some people, they just cry all the time. That's just gross. You don't want anything to do with that. So we don't want to spread that drama over to the 5D or other realms and contaminate them, because to them, to the people that have ascended in our masters, they realize we're just working our tools out. We're learning, how this goes, how that goes. Should I do more of this, less of that? And we're just getting our footing on these biological bodies that we've been given. So that is what the first heaven is all about. It's the protection. The other part of that is that there's 200 angels that actually protect the Terra Dome and this system. So the Council of Jupiter, what they do is they manage all of the realms to make sure that they stay pure, genuine, that we're really learning, nobody's cheating. And so they have put ascended masters that are qualified to maintain certain terror domes to make sure that the schools are working properly and that everybody's learning the way that they're supposed to. Okay. So number two is what they call the hell, or the darkness, and the the other aspect of that is also the paradise. And this is where we get our duality. So in the second heaven actually is a hell, because if you think about it as we're learning, okay, put your judgment away. Let's look at this objectively. We're here to learn. You can't learn without a punishment. So that's why the councils created a hell or a punishment or a prison system, is so that if you poke too many people's eyes, you have to be punished so that you realize that's not a good thing to do. Just like when you're dealing with a foster kid, or you're dealing with a bad dog or something, you have to punish them so that they know this is a bad behavior. Don't keep doing this. And that's what the hell planet is. I think what is so incredible is that if you haven't read Dante's Inferno yet, you really want to, because it gives you a sense of peace, calm, retribution, and knowing that in the yin and the yang of the universe, as the alkaline, the acid, so think of your acid state of a hell, there's different layers of it. So if you're poking one person's eye, you're going to experience Dante's Inferno maybe on the top one or two tiers, where if you're poking a lot of people's eye, like a global eye poke out on many, many millions of people, you're going to go all the way down to the bottom of Dante's Inferno. And you have different retribution, different punishment, different fear, infliction, horrors, that's all part of the school so that souls can evolve. And I believe that the younger the soul, the more that it hasn't learned, and it's going to be acting out. That's why every so many 7 years or so, they're bringing in new people that are these new souls, because they keep providing this dichotomy of learning within the school system. Okay. And it's appreciative. So the other part of that is going to be a less inferno, where it's the second. And so if you think of the hell actually being more like a self-inflicted purgatory, where everything you touch turns to crap, you always owe people money, and it's because your energy's not right. And so after a while, you're poking your own eye all the time. You realize, hey, maybe I should stop poking my eye and not act with these negative emotions because I'm not getting anywhere. Let me try something new. And I know that a lot of people have gone through this. I know I have for sure. When I went through the dark night of the soul and I looked at all my flaws that I didn't like about my personality, I had to change them. And what's wrong with walking the walk of truth and justice? What is wrong with they demonize being righteous? It's funny. I love how this school is set up. It's really fun. So don't get too caught up in it. Kind of stand back and just observe. So the third heaven, of course, is going to be the paradise. And the paradise is more for the righteous, those that are not poking anybody's eyes, but they're still going out and learning different lessons to develop the I am. So the Jupiter School actually does have a criteria of different types of personality traits that we had to develop, and I'll explain that more at the end. But right now, I just want you to realize that there is a pleasantness about this heaven in the third uh, density that is where most people reside at this time. So it's pleasant. And there is still a fire around it, because a fire could be a passion and following your passions. As long as your passions are steered toward doing the right thing, then you're going to be getting guidance and protection in this third heaven. Okay, now, can you be corrupted? Absolutely. This is where the fun comes in, because as you're going along, if you don't have a strong personality, then you could be swayed by somebody. And this is where you see it in Hollywood. It's fantastic, because these people, they come from good homes. Maybe they come from broken homes. I don't know, but they start out wanting to do the right thing and share their music, and they're going to sing about positive things. And then all of a sudden, bam, they get hit with these dollar signs and these Ferraris and these fancy clothes and this black credit card, and they can have anything that they want as long as you're willing to do what we want. And that is not good, because then as you enter into that Dante's Inferno staircase, you're going to start descending more and more and more, and the controllers are going to try to push you down that inferno as much as they can, because I don't know, maybe they get paid for that, but they don't want to be alone, maybe. And so they're bringing a lot of people with them. So there is, every time you are doing anything in your life, really, there's always going to be the two angels, the one on the left side that's good and the devil's on the right. So you're always going to be tempted. Even like if you go to the grocery store and they give you $1 too much, are you going to give that back? That's the devil or the angel. Every action causes a reaction. So if you are thinking you got away with something, maybe you took a few extra dollar bills when they weren't looking or something, or you took extra coupons and you weren't supposed to. All that builds up in your karmic wheel, and then the universe has to give you back why you don't do that, your retribution, your punishment. And it will come in another way, where all of a sudden you have experienced loss in some way, so that you realize what it means to lose because you took from somebody else. So there is always going to be this yin and yang, ebb and flow, and that is what is so beautiful about our reality, and why the people that do not go for the enticements to take a shortcut, and they're willing to walk the long road and do the work, go to school, work hard, learn, and build yourself up, those people are admired even by the jinn, even by the reptilians. They're admired because you didn't fall short. You have what I call a passion for a better life. You have a fire in your belly to be the best version of yourself, and you're not going to allow somebody to take that away from you by living in a devil environment, a devil environment. So, anyway, so let's go to the next one. The next one is going to be, uh, I also want to go over this too, is that you will be seduced by the wicked. They're going to do everything that they can to seduce you over to the dark side. And I believe that this is also written about in the Bible with Armageddon. We've been warned about this. Anytime that life gets really stressful, that's when people start to get seduced to the dark side. When everything is easy and wonderful and glorified, you don't get challenged. But when you start going into scarcity and it's the best are going to win type mentality, that's when people start to be seduced to the dark side. Okay, because they're not used to being working hard or thinking outside of the box or relying on their own book of knowledge. So uh, they start engaging with darker beings. And trust me, there are dark beings all around us, especially if you're in crowds. You could take videos and all of a sudden these dark beings start showing up and they look tangible. They're interdimensional, but they're dark beings that are right before you. They can appear as a smoke or an actual being that looks like you, but they're all dark. I mean, like crispy fried burnt, dark with red eyes. Okay, so the objective is not to get into a fearful mode, but instead get into an educated mode. If you don't know how to do something, educate. Don't take those shortcuts. Also, I want to point out that a lot of people, so I did readings for many, many years. And there was a lot of people that instead of working, instead of going to school, instead of developing a career path that afforded freedom, luxury, and wealth, they instead started stepping into witchcraft or summoning demons for help. They also started stealing from people, and they would cause other people to starve so that they could have gluttony. They would bow down to idols that would give them trinkets or gold or credit cards. And they also would always have um, an awareness of taking that short road, which delved into the dark side of reality because it was easier. But I'm here to tell you, once you start getting into that dark realm and summoning demons, you're going to be in big trouble. It's really hard to stop that negative energy that's going to be coming your way. Things die around you. I saw where fish would die, dogs would die, cats would die, or even birds would end up dead on people's patios all the time because of their energy going to the dark side. So you always want to stay on the pleasant side where it smells really nice and it's pleasant. Okay. So the fourth heaven has to do with the solar and the lunar tracks. It has to do with the solar being energy and the lunar being magnetic. You are the same. You are energy as well as magnetic. So it is your consciousness learning how to balance the energy and the magnetics within you because we're converting energy into matter. Okay. This is the big task that we need to achieve in order to accomplish ascension. And this is what we're all working on. This also has to do with, as we develop more of these powers, transforming the matter into what we want. There's more angels that then are put in place to make sure that we're manifesting correctly. All right, number 5 is the the realm or the heaven of the Watchers, Giants, and the Nephilim. And they play a big role. And I'm going to save this for later when I talk about the timelines. So just remember this. Number 6, the sixth heaven is brighter groups. There are 7 types to study, and they are the stars and the mentors of the heavens. And these people are always the ones that are properly teaching. These are the ones that are available to mentor somebody else. And that means that they usually have very good boundaries. They have a strong sense of their I am. They're not going to be swayed by trinkets. They're going to be staying on their course. And trust me, they get a lot of temptation. Nothing can take you off your course because the greater good is being able to have a quantum brain versus having a trinket. Okay. So the seventh heaven is where you have your fire army and the archangels, the cherubs, the seraphim, the various types of angels and powerful angels that are here to assist and protect people. So they always have an eye on you and what you're doing. The more that you walk the path of righteousness for the greater good, the more that you're walking the path of Christ and you're bringing knowledge to yourself, you're creating the I am, you're being autonomous, you're creating self sufficiency, and you're learning how to live within this reality, you get help. You get a lot of help. You get angels that are around you that will send you people. There are mentors that will just show up or teachers. So we get a lot of assistance from the higher realms that are right here within this timeline. It's always set up in densities, and this is what is going on within a density of a timeline, okay? So the eighth one is where the um the archangels can interfere more and work on the four seasons, the 12 zodiacs. It's where usually they're introducing new technology or introducing new concepts, or they're taking away information or technology, and they're causing this always changing environment of the school. So this is a lot where the gold age, the iron age, the technological age, and then where they finish with the dark ages. And that's where we're at now. Even the angels are helping us through the dark ages because the dark ages are to test the characters. You have to take a test before you can go into the next realm, because nobody wants somebody that has a lot of baggage or garbage, or they haven't worked out their personality flaws yet. Okay, keep that in mind. The angels are also very much responsible for the critiquing or the assistance of helping people, but they also will stop you if you have not developed properly that behavior within you that needs to be altered. Okay, so the the ninth heaven has to do with the astrological zodiac signs, but it has to do with the Palladian clock. It has to do with, as the seasons are changing, it's a clock. It's a clock that the classrooms are changing, the lesson plans are changing, so that we don't get complacent. We don't get bored. We don't figure out what the game is and then just keep playing it over and over again. They're always switching it up so that we stay intrigued, we're interested, and we move to the next phase of our development. It's fun. And they've done such a masterful project here that they've engaged us all. They tricked us into believing that it was all real instead of it's a school. It's fun. Look what we did. So the 10th heaven is where they say God resides, and the angels sing and the archangels are there. Well, within this 12th heaven, or the 10th heaven, is actually where we start to manifest. We get the ability to create from our energy and our magnetics. we can create matter, which creates our reality, and we could create whatever we want. So what has been misleading for most people is that the people that are really rich, we assume that they're the ones that won the game. Wow, I want to emulate them. I want to act like them. I'm going to copy them. But actually, they were the ones that took the bait. They're not the ones that develop, because we're not here to be having, large bank accounts. We're here to develop the inner quantum mechanics within our bodies. That's why you're here. So, okay, everybody, that's going to wrap it up for this time. Please stay tuned. I have way more coming from George, and you're going to love hearing how to work the mechanics within this new reality, and how to create the perfect lifestyle for yourself, and how to put yourself in the driver's seat. So with that, we love you lots, and we'll see you on the next show.
Stay tuned, folks. Thanks for being here. Bye for now.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Quantum Shift Show. There's so much more to uncover, so stay tuned as we journey deeper into the unknown and awaken the power within.
It's a calling divine.
Visit Quantumhealing.club.
We're not just alive, we're aligned with the design. Cosmic waves rise, feel the